right, RCB fans and everyone else, welcome to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
I like how RCB fans get their own little intro. RCB fans and everyone else. You know what? So, all right, CSK fans and TKR fans and KKR fans and Han and Renil. I can go down the list, bro. I can go down the list. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Don't steal my stuff. Get your own stuff, all right? First you stole It's Over, and then you stole, my little facial here. Now, why don't you just relax? I see you copied my beard. But we are here for another episode of R3 Wickets. And this is going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen, not because of what we're saying, but because of the match we're talking about. I'm going to start off with what I liked in a second, but let's do our opening thoughts. My opening thoughts are this. I don't mean to steal your thunder, but first of all, I've been saying it for months, almost a year now. I haven't seen Hetmeyer. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've seen Hetmeyer, okay? I've seen him. I know what you guys are talking about. Right. And I'm sure Gabe will mention it later on, but wow. That's all I got to say. Renell, Biggs, Marcelino, Donovan, whoever I'm missing out, the West Indies fans, I am sorry. I finally see it. You won't hear me say it anymore. This guy's a beast. The other quick thought, one run. Harsha Bogey mentioned on Cricket Buzz. I'm going to give him the attention, but everyone was thinking about, or the credit, everyone was thinking about, how do you have Rishabh Pant needing to get off strike to win? That's how crazy Hetmeyer was. That was so insane. He needed to get off strike because Hetmeyer was busting those sixes. This was such a crazy match. I'm so excited that RCB won. Last thing about my opening thought real quick is it didn't matter that RCB won for Delhi Capitals. Because Delhi Capitals are still well and above in third place with 8 points. It didn't matter. That's how lopsided this is. Gabe, opening thoughts.
My opening thoughts are that RCB solidified what I thought, that they are now, in my opinion, one of the top three teams following CSK, and that DC did exactly what I thought they were going to do, which was be one of the top three teams. This game could have gone either way. The difference in this game, really simple. Harshal Patel did not get pumped the way he got pumped, and that has been the difference, right? The death bowling for your boys RCB, they didn't get pumped in this one. There was the 16th over. 5 runs, people. Let's talk about a few games ago when guys got absolutely demolished by in the death by by Serge Deja. You know what I'm saying, dude? That was the difference. And on the other side, it's a mistake I think Pont make, and I'll be talking about that later on. But that's how close these two teams are matched, and it wouldn't surprise me if, again, last of the Mohicans, I still like DC, even though CSK looks so much better right now. I like DC in the long run to still go to that championship. Maybe it's CSK DC, maybe it's RCB DC. I still believe DC's going to be there because, again, they looked so good today. But right away, I want to jump into, Nick, because you already kind of stole my thunder with it. What did I like? Sherman Hetmeyer. Oh, my gosh. This is what Renil, this is what Biggs, this is what Don Antonio, this is what all the West Indies fans are talking about. And I've seen little spurts here. I contend that if they're able to rotate strike, Pont took a 2 there in I think it was the 19th over. He took a 2. If he leaves it as a 1, and I know you're thinking, what do you mean as a 1? Maybe you get Hetmeyer on strike and he gets the 2 6s they need instead of a 6 and a 4, which was Pont ended up getting. I mean, it's brutal to say that, right? It comes down to 1 run.
It's crazy.
I don't think that's what cost us the game, but you're right. If Hetmeyer gets on strike, he wins this game for them. 53 off 25, a 212 strike rate. Nick, he had 4 6s. He had the only 4 6s on the entire DC squad. This guy is an absolute savage. And here's the thing. I believe that Hetmeyer is going to today solidify his place on the spot, right? However, we've got issues, and we'll talk about it later because there can be only one, all right? Highlander, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. What else did I like? Pant, 58 on 48. Why people even say it was only a 120 strike rate. He didn't get the 6 they needed at the end. I haven't seen Pant be able to last this long. Bro, he came in early because wickets were falling, brother. Wickets were falling early. Prithvi Shaw went out relatively early. Of course, Chickadawin, come on, mushed. What goes out 6 runs, 7 balls. Smudge goes out too. So Pant put himself at first and came out early. Nick, when's the last time Pant batted for 10 overs plus, no out? That's impressive. That's impressive, bro. So I really like that. As far as Pant's concerned. Finally, the last thing I liked, okay, as far as the bowling, excuse me, has been concerned, you know, Axar Patel recently came back, right? 4 overs, 33 runs, 1 wicket. He's going to be a part of the side, especially now that Ashwin's not there. He's going to be their main all-rounder to get those wickets. You know what I'm saying, brother? So I really enjoyed him. And Avish Khan, he's been their guy. He gets a wicket every game, 2-3 wickets. He might be their leading wicket taker, as a matter of fact, this year. Avish Khan, 4 overs, 24 runs, and 1 wicket. Nick, what did you like, my friend?
You mentioned Pont's strike rate. I'm just going to say, because it's the most obvious thing. He was in there for a long time at the end. Do you realize his strike rate was almost 121? If he had a strike rate of 125, they would have won the match. Can you imagine that? 125. And you think like Pont can get that in his sleep, especially if he's going to last 48 balls. He's going to be hitting some sixes. It was so weird that he got 6 boundaries, couldn't get any sixes. That was the difference in the game. It's crazy. But again, as an RCB fan, I'm super excited. What did I like? I like the fact that these guys picked up after Kohli and Padikkal went down. Both openers of both sides went for 27, 29 runs combined. Not what you want. Not a horrible, not a duck, but not what you want. Absolutely. But the guys picked them up on the RCB side. Obviously, you mentioned DC already. Maxwell 25 off 20. Patidar 31 off 22. If you're going to give me Patidar, to give me 31 every match, I'll take it. Give you a strike rate of 140 plus. I'll take that every single time. Thank you. Put that in the bank. Thank you very much. We'll take your 31. Kohli, Padikkal, can you give us at least 20 next time? But I'll take that 31 every single time. But AB de Villiers. Not only am I finally excited, I finally struck when lightning hit with AB de Villiers. I finally had him vice captain. 75 off 42. Someone said in the chat when I was joking around when I said it's over after Kohli and Padikkal went down. Someone in the chat said it's never over when AB's in there. Absolutely right. I did not think 171 was going to be enough. I did not. I'm so glad I was wrong. I thought DC was going to get 180. They got 170. But I love how AB de Villiers did AB de Villiers thing. He picked up his boys. He had like kind of like a slow strike rate at first, and then he just went bananas. He had what was 27 or something like that in the final over. This 23. Guy lost his mind. 23. Okay, 23 runs. Needed every bit of that. They finished with a 2 in the last ball. Needed every bit of that. So I absolutely loved it. Real quick, the bowling. Love the bowling from RCB. Absolutely. You mentioned Harsh Patel. Harsh Patel wasn't too expensive. He was a little expensive. He usually is, but he gets those wickets every single time. And right now, I'll take him. But I'm telling you, if they get to the playoffs, you're going to have to cut back on some of those runs, my friend. Cut back. But still, in the death, 10 or 11, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I needed some more wickets from Washington Sundar, but I love getting a wicket from Siraj and Jamieson. And Siraj got pumped a little bit that last over, but he still did pretty good. So all in all, very, very happy, 100%. What did I dislike? I'm going to say it right now. Why in the world did you bring Sams into this match if you weren't going to use him? Why in the world? He had a low economy rate. I did not check this beforehand, so I apologize. But I don't think he saw any of the death. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty decent in the death as a bowler. He didn't see anything in the death. He had 2 overs left to go. There was a point where wicket goes down. You have a few more overs left. They choose Sundar over Sams. And AJ was right on top of it. I was right there with them. I didn't vocalize it. Why bring Sundar ahead of Sams? Sams can get those sixes. He can get those boundaries in a limited time. He's like an archer. He's like a Cummins who has the ability to do those, but he's more on the bowling side as far as the all-rounder goes. And I don't know what's going on. You didn't use him completely. I thought that almost could have cost you the match, as small as that. But other than that, Kohli did a great job with his captaincy. Another thing I did not like is, and it's easy for me to mention the opening partnership. I'm not going to. But what I'm going to say about the opening partnership that I did not like is the fact that, and I mentioned on the stream, that they were like almost soft dismissals. Great balls, absolute great balls, but either give a full defend or just don't swing at it at all when it's not near the wickets. I think it was Padickel's where he had to because that ball was going for the wickets regardless. But with Kohli, not sure what he was doing. Give me a full swing, a full strike, or just don't swing the bat whatsoever. The same thing happened to on the DC side. Who was it with that edge? It wasn't Steve Smith. I'm thinking about Stoinis. I don't know what Stoinis was thinking with that. Or not Stoinis. Who was it? I think it was Prithvi Shaw, where he swung way out to try to get that wide, and it got edge caught by AB. That was a huge detriment in the match, but that's on the other side. So that's what I did not like. But honestly, Gabe, this was a super exciting match, no matter what side you're rooting for.
I'll tell you what I did not like about DC, and it's almost the same thing, honestly, that you didn't like about RCB. I agree with you with the Sam situation. Sam should have absolutely been bowling in the depth there. Sam should have also been batting above Washington Sundar. Sometimes you question these guys' decisions. Like, what were you thinking? You know what I mean? And we have to understand, it happens in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't have the metrics in front of them, but you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. That's where you use those strategic timeouts and go back and talk to management. You don't go, oh, wait. You're fine, brother. I can't even hear you. You good?
I was just muting so I can cough, so I didn't interrupt you. Sorry, water went down my throat.
It's all good. Ready?
Yeah.
Start again. Bro, so, I mean, for me, what I didn't like, same thing, RCB and DC, it was some of the decision-making by the captains, all right? And I get it. You're in the heat of the moment. I agree with you. Sam should have come in the depth to bowl. Sam should have also been batting earlier. It is what it is. You already covered that already to death. Pant made a monumental mistake in my humble opinion, okay? I do not understand, absolutely do not understand bringing in an all-rounder. I'm not going to say a non-bowler, but he's an all-rounder, okay? In the depth, Nick, this is what counts to get pumped for 23 runs. 23 runs.
What do you think he was thinking? That he's just a man in the 20th over?
I have no idea what he's thinking. You're not going to give him the last, bro. You could have still gone back to a mid-Marshall, okay, whose economy rate was 9, but it won 23. That's what Stoinis ended up being, 23. And this is AB de Villiers, bro. This guy just dismantled Udacat for like 26 in the over. We've seen him do it before. That is a mistake. But it's not just a mistake by Pant. It's a mistake by ownership. You either go, and this is the second thing I didn't like. You can't have both of them in there. You can't have, and when I say both of them, you can't have Smudge and Hetmeyer. Why? Because that cost you a guy that you probably needed bowling today in Norkia. All right? The bowling, Rabada's been suspect. He got 1 wicket today, 950 economy rate. You know what I mean? And the wicket was in the depth. It wasn't like he dominated early. Where's my Nokia? Where's my Norkia? I mean, I don't understand. And if they're doing it, I can understand keeping out Wood. And I know you love your Wood, but I can understand them keeping out Wood. But you're keeping out Norkia because you want to play both Steve Smith and Hetmeyer. You can't do it. One or the other. And in my opinion, after what I saw today, you go with Hetmeyer because he has the potential to give you 53 on 27. Smudge just ain't going to do that. Smudge just ain't going to do that. So I think that they're hamstringing Pant, and by them, the selection committee is hamstringing Pant by not giving him one of his best bowlers. I don't want to see another game go by without Rabada. That was your formula to success last year. Nor Rabada and Norkia taking all those wickets up front, right? Taking all those wickets early, putting pressure on the other side. That cannot happen again, and I absolutely hated it, Nick. There's no way Stoinis should be bowling to AB de Villiers in the last over. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? AB de Villiers walked up with a big smile on his face, like, really? Really? Yum, 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 delicioso. I'm going to pump you. Oh, my gosh, that was bad.
23 runs, and they only won by 1. 23 runs in that death. The one thing I think of is you put Smith in there because of those sure hands. He had 2 big catches. I think those catches probably anyone would have made. They weren't like amazing catches, but he's still a sure fill. I agree with you. When I saw Smith out there, I'm like, really? Really? I mean, now I understand Hetmeyer. I'll never say that name again. Holy cow, in a negative way. But I absolutely agree with you 100%. I will say you would call Wokes wood. That's all I'm going to say. You would call Wokes wood. You set me up for my joke. I appreciate it. What did I learn in this match? I'm going to say this. I didn't really learn too much. Besides the fact that I got really worried about RCB's last loss because when they lose bad when they play against a good team. They lost bad against CSK. And I know Jadeja was amazing. You take Jadeja's 60 runs out, they still win by like 20 or something like that from RCB. It was absolutely a lacking for crying out loud. The small thing I did learn is that RCB can finally hang with the big boys with DC. It was tough. It was nail-biting. It was exciting. This was like a Padres-Dodgers game, for crying out loud. It was back and forth. It was super exciting. But I learned that as excited as I was for RCB, as excited as I am for RCB, and I have not given up any hope whatsoever. First place, 10 points. The best CSK can do is leapfrog them because net run rate was still tied with the points. The small thing I learned is they're just not there yet. They're not ready for their playoff run yet, and I'm so glad that the playoffs don't start next week. They don't start for several weeks because they're just not ready yet to take that. They get to play Mumbai again. They get to play CSK. You're going to say, Nick, they beat Mumbai. Everyone's beat Mumbai, for crying out loud. Not the same Mumbai. I need to see how they do against CSK. If they beat CSK, I don't care. It's 1 run or 60 runs. I'm going to be the most annoying person for the next few weeks because I'm going to be losing my mind because I do think CSK has elevated that much. I had them in the wooden spoon. They've completely did the opposite. I was completely wrong about that. I've admitted it many times. But that's what I learned. This was a fun, exciting match. 2 teams that I do think are actually somewhat balanced. They're very similar on both sides in a lot of ways. I'm super excited to see what they do. And last thing I want to say was it was so fun to see Kohli's face. Like when Pont was going off, because he's like, I've seen this before. Why against Pont? Why against Pont? And for some weird thing of irony, it was Hetmeyer you should have been more worried about. So that's what I learned, Gabe.
You know, what I learned is, and kind of like what you mentioned earlier, is that this team is so deep. And what I mean by so deep is you could lose Sugar Darwin, who's top 5 every year in run score, right?
Number 1 right now.
Former Orange Cap winner and came up second last year. You could lose him for 6 runs. You could lose Prithvi Shaw, 21 for 18. All right. You could lose your top 3 guys, Steve Smith, 4 for 5. And still go ahead and only lose by 1 run because they're so deep. You've got Pant, you've got Hetmeyer, you got Stoinis who gave you 22.
He was huge. He was huge.
And again, it's one of those things where we could have even gone 1 more deeper because Axar Patel can swing that stick, okay? Yep. They are deep enough. They need Norkia to completely be dominant, okay? Rabada, not saying he's not good, but Rabada does most of his damage just like he did last year in the death. Up front early in the power play, Norkia, I think, was second behind Jofra Archer taking wickets, okay? And that's when you want your guys taking out those 1-2 guys, whatever, putting them under pressure from the very beginning. Get me Norkia, guys. Please get me Norkia back in here. And that's what I learned. Now, it's that time again. Who did I mush? You guys already know it. Sugar Darwin was my pick. And again, mushed. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. So for tomorrow's game, who am I going to mush? Well, Nicholas, who am I going to pick? Kane Williamson. Why? Because like I said, this team should have had him there since game 1. Now, there's all this talk about he wasn't fit. Yeah, and I got a beanstalk that I want to sell you, some magic beans, all right? That was
always has beans.
You always know about my beans, all right? Kane Williamson comes in and gets and produces like I said he was going to produce. He does a fabulous job. I mean, that last game, bro, masterful. The way he carried the Sunrisers to the end, to the super over, which you're like, bro, this is going to go to a super over. It was absolutely bananas. Kane Williamson, I think they're just, for whatever reason, Warner has not hit the last 2 or 3 games. He's been shaky. That's another conversation for us to have. He's been shaky. Bairstow's been carrying this team. His back must be hurt. And I don't know how every game they need 40 or 50 from Bairstow. So I think Williamson's going to come and settle in that side. I still like CSK to win. But to me, I think the player to watch for my fantasy captain for tomorrow is going to be Kane Williamson. Nick.
So what you're saying is what's actually going to happen is Warner's going to go off and Williamson's going to get down to like sub 14. It's like the market, New York Stock Exchange, for crying out loud. All the guys in New York Stock Exchange just sitting there waiting. And once Gabe says Williamson, sell. I'll give it to you for 5 cents. Who wants for 5 cents? I mean, it's absolute bananas right now in the Dream 11 world. Gabe, you are what are you, 19 for 20 right now? It's absolutely unbelievable. He's 95% oppositely correct. Who am I going to take? I'm going to be that annoying guy because I have not thought about it. I apologize. I was not prepared for this. I'm taking Warner just because you said he was going to be garbage and he's been suspect. I don't have a lot of confidence in that because you're right. He does not look right. But I say he goes for at least 40 or so. Let us know what you guys think about this previous match, about tomorrow's match. Does SRH stand a chance? Do they stand a chance? They almost were able to take, who was it, the Delhi Capitals to the Super Over, and they took them there, almost able to beat them. We'll see if they have a little more left in the tank for CSK. You never know. IPL is crazy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That's 6 runs.